The research station Aurora drifted silently through the cosmos, its metal corridors humming with quiet activity. Dr. Marcus Webb pressed his palm against the cool observation window, watching distant stars paint silver trails across the darkness. As the station's lead linguist, he had spent 3 years cataloging alien languages, but tonight felt different. Tonight, something was calling to him from the artifact storage bay. The ancient relic sat on the examination table, no larger than his palm, yet radiating an inexplicable warmth. Its surface bore intricate symbols that seemed to shift and dance in the artificial light. Marcus ran his fingers across the smooth material, feeling a strange tingling sensation travel up his arm. The symbols weren't like anything in the Galactic database, yet somehow they felt familiar. You should not be handling that without proper authorization. The voice was melodic, carrying an accent he couldn't place. Marcus turned to find a tall, elegant figure standing in the doorway. Her skin held an opalescent quality, shifting between pale blue and silver, and her eyes were the color of deep ocean water. This was Zephora, the Nexari archaeologist who had joined their mission only days ago. "I'm sorry, I couldn't sleep." "What?" "Something about this artifact." Marcus gestured helplessly at the object. Zephora stepped closer, her movements graceful like flowing water. When she saw the symbols clearly, her breath caught audibly. "Possible," she whispered, her hand reaching out but stopping just short of touching the artifact. "These markings are written in the old tongue of my people. But that language died with the Great Silence over 5,000 years ago." Marcus felt his heart race. "You can read this?" Zephora nodded slowly, her eyes never leaving the artifact. "Some of it. My grandmother taught me fragments before she passed into the star embrace. But you, human Marcus, why were you drawn to it?" "Your species has no connection to Nexari history." The question hung in the air between them. Marcus studied her face, noting the way her skin seemed to glow faintly when she was emotional. There was something about her presence that made him feel both nervous and completely at ease. "I don't know," he admitted. "But when I look at these symbols, it's like remembering a dream I can't quite grasp." Zephora moved closer, close enough that he could smell her skin like rain on summer stones and distant starlight. "Perhaps," she said softly, "the stars have brought us together for a reason." Shared secrets, under starlight, 3 nights later. Marcus and Zephora worked side by side in the station's quiet research lab. The artifact rested between them on a specialized scanner, its symbols glowing more brightly than ever before. Empty coffee cups and Nexari tea glasses littered the table, evidence of their marathon translation sessions. "Try this sequence again," Zephora said, her finger tracing a complex pattern in the air above the artifact. Her voice had grown softer over the past few days, losing its initial formality. Marcus leaned forward, their shoulders almost touching, and studied the symbols she indicated, the curved line here. "It means journey or path," he said, surprising himself with his certainty. Zephora's eyes widened, the opalescent shimmers in her skin brightening with excitement. "Yes, exactly. And this next part speaks of 2 souls. No, 2 peoples finding each other across the void." She paused, looking directly at him. "Marcus, how is it possible that you understand this? Even trained Nexari scholars struggle with the old tongue." Marcus set down his stylus and met her gaze. In the soft light of the research lab, she looked ethereal, otherworldly beautiful. "Zephora, can I ask you something personal?" She nodded, her expression curious and open. "When you touch the artifact, do you feel connected to something larger? Like you're remembering something you never learned?" Zephora was quiet for a long moment, then slowly reached out and placed her hand on the artifact. Immediately, her skin began to glow more intensely, and Marcus felt a corresponding warmth in his chest. "Yes," she whispered. "What?" "It feels like coming home to a place I've never been." Unable to resist, Marcus placed his hand next to hers on the sad artifact. The moment their fingers brushed, both gasped. The artifact pulsed with brilliant light, and suddenly the lab was filled with projected images, star maps, faces of beings both human and Nexari, scenes of cooperation and shared wonder. "What is this?" Marcus breathed, but he already knew. Somehow, he could read the story playing out before them. It spoke of an ancient time when their peoples worked together, when the boundaries between human and Nexari blurred into something beautiful and unified. Zephyr's hand found his, their fingers intertwining. "It's our history," she said, wonder filling her voice. "A history both our peoples forgot." The images faded, but their hands remained joined, the artifact warm beneath their touch. The memory crystal's truth captain, Helena Cross, stood with her arms crossed, studying the readings from Marcus and Zephyr's latest experiments. The bridge of the Aurora hummed with tension as Elder Vorthan, the Nexori diplomat, reviewed the same data on his portable device. "You're telling me this artifact contains actual memories?" Captain Cross asked, skepticism evident in her voice. Marcus nodded, acutely aware of Zephyra standing close beside him. Over the past week, they had grown closer, sharing not just their research but quiet conversations about their worlds, their hopes, their fears. "It's more than just an artifact," Zephyra explained, her voice steady despite the pressure from their superiors. "It's a memory crystal, designed to preserve experiences and knowledge. What it's showing us challenges everything we thought we knew about first contact between humans and Nexari." Elder Vorthon, a tall Nexari with silver skin marked by age, spoke in measured tones. "If this is true, it means our histories have been deliberately obscured. The Great Silence was not just the loss of our old language, but the loss of our connection to humans." Marcus felt Zephyr's hand brush against his briefly, a gesture of support that sent warmth through his entire body. The memories show cooperation, shared technology, even personal relationships between our peoples. Something happened to break that bond, to make both species forget. "This is highly irregular," Captain Cross said, though Marcus could see curiosity fighting. "With protocol in her eyes, we need to contact command immediately," No Zephyr said firmly, surprising everyone including herself. "If we involve the authorities now, they will take the crystal, classify it, bury it in bureaucracy. The truth will be lost again." Marcus made a decision that surprised even him. "She's right. I need more time to understand what we're dealing with." That night, after the captain and Elder Vorthan had retired to consider their options, Marcus found Zephra in the observation lounge. She stood silhouetted against the star field, her opalescent skin catching the light of distant suns. "Are we making the right choice?" she asked as he approached. Marcus moved to stand beside her, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her skin. "I don't know. But I know that what we've found, what we're experiencing, it's too important to let others control." Sephora turned to face him fully, her ocean-deep eyes searching his face. "Marcus, there's something else. Something I haven't told you about the crystal's memories." "What is it?" She reached out and took his hands in hers, her touch sending familiar electricity through him. The memories showed that humans and Nexari didn't just cooperate, they loved each other deeply. Our peoples were bonded not just by treaty, but by hearts. Forbidden love and hidden historic memory, Crystal revealed its deepest secrets on the 9th day of their research. Marcus and Zephra worked alone in the sealed research bay, having convinced their superiors that the translation required uninterrupted concentration. The truth was more complex. They needed privacy to explore what the crystal was showing them without judgment or interference. "Look at this sequence," Marcus said, his voice barely above a whisper. The crystal projected images of an ancient ceremony where humans and Nexari stood together under alien stars, their hands joined in what looked unmistakably like wedding rituals. Zephra's breath caught as she watched Nexari and human couples embrace, their children playing together in gardens that spanned multiple worlds. "My ancestors, they loved humans. They chose them as life partners. And humans chose Nexari," Marcus added, studying her profile as she watched the projections. The soft light made her skin glow like captured starlight, and he found it increasingly difficult to concentrate on the historical implications rather than the woman beside him. Footsteps echoed in the corridor outside, and they quickly shut down the projection. Commander Darius Stone, head of station security, entered with Captain Cross. His expression was stern, military precision evident in every movement. Dr. Webb, Specialist Zephyra, your 2 sees all research on the artifact immediately, Commander. Stone announced. Orders from Earth Command and the Nexari High Council. The artifact is being transferred to classified research facilities. You can't do that, Marcus protested, stepping protectively closer to Zephyra. We're on the verge of a breakthrough that could change everything. That's exactly why we're stopping it, Captain Cross said, though she looked uncomfortable with the order. Both governments are concerned about the implications of your findings. After the authorities left with stern warnings about compliance, Marcus and Zephyra found themselves alone in the corridor. The weight of losing their work, their discovery, pressed down on them. They're afraid, Zephyra said quietly. Afraid that if people knew our species once loved each other, they might want that again. Marcus turned to face her fully, making a decision that felt like stepping off a cliff. Zephyra, what if they're right to be afraid? What if some of us do want that again? Her eyes widened, understanding passing between them like an electric current. Slowly, tentatively, she reached up and touched his face with her palm. Her skin was warm, incredibly soft, and seemed to pulse with gentle bioluminescence. Marcus, she whispered, I have wanted to tell you. These past days, working with you, learning from you, it has awakened something in me that I thought was only legend. He covered her hand with his own, leaning into her touch. I've never felt anything like this either. You're brilliant, beautiful, and when I'm with you, it's like the universe makes sense. She moved closer, until they were breathing the same air, her eyes searching his face. Is this what our ancestors felt? This pull, this certainty that we belong together, despite being from different worlds? Unity across the stars, the stolen memory crystal sat hidden in Marcus's quarters as alarms blared throughout the aurora. Zephyra pressed against him in the small space, both of them breathing hard from their midnight run through the stations. Service corridors. They've discovered we took it, she whispered, her skin flickering with stress patterns Marcus had learned to read over their intense weeks together. Good, Marcus said, surprising her with his calm. Let them come. It's time everyone knew the truth. He activated the crystal, and his quarters filled with the projection of the complete memory sequence. It showed not just cooperation between their species, but the reason for the Great Silence, a war between factions who feared the unity their peoples had achieved. Those who won had systematically erased the evidence of human Nexari bonds, rewriting history to keep their species apart. The war wasn't between humans and Nexari, Zephyra breathed, understanding flooding her features. It was between those who embraced unity and those who feared it. The door burst open, revealing Captain Cross, Elder Vorthen, and Commander Stone. They froze as the projections showed the final memories, the moment when the last generation of united human Nexari families sent their knowledge into memory crystals, hoping future generations would rediscover their shared heritage. This changes everything, Elder Vorthen said quietly, his usual stern demeanor cracking as he watched Nexari and human children playing together in the ancient images. Captain Cross nodded slowly. This is real, if our histories have been falsified. Then maybe it's time to write a new future, Marcus said, standing and pulling Zephyra up with him. Their hands remained joined as they faced their superiors together. The final projection showed something that made everyone in the room gasp, genetic scans proving that humans and Nexari shared common ancestors. That they were 2 branches of the same evolutionary tree, separated by time and space, but always meant to find each other again. Zephyra stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. The crystal shows that our peoples didn't just cooperate in the past, we thrived together. We created technologies, art, and culture that neither could achieve alone. Marcus squeezed her hand, drawing strength from her presence. And it shows that love between our species wasn't just possible, it was the foundation of everything we built together. 6 months later, Marcus and Zephyra stood before the combined Human Nexari Council. Their research having sparked a renaissance of cooperation between their peoples, archaeological teams were uncovering more memory crystals across the galaxy, revealing a rich, shared history. As they presented their final report, Marcus felt Zephyra's hand in his, her skin warm with the gentle bioluminescence that now seemed as natural as breathing. They had become more than researchers, more than lovers. They become symbols of what their peoples could achieve together. The old words are returning, Zephyra announced to the assembly, her voice carrying clearly across the chamber, and with them, the old bonds. We are not two separate species learning to cooperate. We are one people finally coming home. The applause was thunderous, but Marcus only had eyes for the brilliant, beautiful being beside him whose love had helped unlock the greatest discovery in galactic history.